Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our F1 24 career mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. We are coming off of an epic result in our home Grand Prix last episode from Montreal, which leads us into a new rivalry with fellow Canadian of Lance Stroll. He is our championship rivalry. So now we have a teammate rivalry as well as a championship rivalry as we head into the Spanish Grand Prix this weekend, a track that has brought me quite a bit of bad luck in past games, so we'll see what happens here this weekend. As no real upgrades for us, you can see some teams they'll make some big gains, specifically VCarb and Mercedes as well coming into this weekend here from Spain into practice. We had some news coming into this weekend as well. Formula One bringing in a new, and as well with alongside Pirelli, a new series of tires that is quite simply going to wear more than the tires that are default in the game. So that means we will be seeing two pit stop races be the likely strategy, depending on, what happens throughout a Grand Prix with safety cars and whatnot. But yeah, it should be two stop races for just about everybody here starting this weekend in Spain. So that is going to be quite exciting. A new tire compound for everybody to try out this weekend. More of an experimental kind of weekend here, and if it works out, Pirelli is going to continue bringing these tires forward into future Grand Prix here. So in practice on track with the new tire compounds, and what I was noticing, and it wasn't because of the tire compounds, it was just a setup, is I was dealing with a lot of oversteer, and this track drives really interesting in F1 24. The last couple corners right here, I mean, this corner is flat out as usual, but this final turn, you are flat out through this final turn, which it just absolutely destroys the outer temperature of the left side tires, I've noticed. But overall, I mean, we were looking pretty decent in practice, and actually this is the first episode ever, I think, since F1 2018 where I had to turn the AI up to 110 as we went into qualifying here, and we'll see what we can do behind the wheel of our Williams machine. We have had some moments of promise. We've had some moments of making errors, a lot of rookie mistakes here, and hopefully we can continue to try and clean things up as we come into qualifying here now with our Williams. The expectations Q2 today, it wasn't looking like the expectation was going to be Q3 with the upgrades other teams were bringing. We didn't really bring any this weekend. We were going to, but one of them failed. So we'll see what happens though. Q1, we go P13 on the first lap, but on the second lap I would have to make, because we've dropped down to P15 and eventually P16. So it was crucial to get a faster lap in. What you can see here at the end of this lap, we're only going about 1/10 of a second improvement. So not great, but we do gain a little bit in the penultimate turn through the final turn. About 1/10.5 of a second now, 1/10 and 3/4 as we come to the line. It would be enough to put us through into Q2, but you can see P12 for Albon, P14 for myself, so not great. Hulkenberg, Joe, Ricardo, Bottas, Magnussen all out in Q1 as we focus in on Q2, and I only had one set of softs to use at this point, obviously, so we're on track here with a one and done kind of scenario, doing what we can. I had made some setup changes as well from practice into qualifying with the anti-roll bars and just the overall front suspension, because there was quite a bit of oversteer, and I find the roll bars make the biggest difference so far when it comes to the setup. I've been finding I've been tweaking the setup a lot more to my preference in this game than any other game so far in the past. But we come through to the end of the lap. Albon's only managed 14th. We're going to come through to cross the stripe, and it's P9, which is great, but it wouldn't stick. We end up P11, which is still nothing to hold our head low on, because our teammate of Albon only ends up P15, 4/10 of a second off of me. Sonoda, Gasly, Ocon, all in between. Let's head to the grid Sunday for the Spanish Grand Prix as we try to move our way forwards.
So many eventful races here in Barcelona over the years. Do you remember Max Verstappen's first win on debut for Red Bull here in 2016? 2 years before, we had the dramatic coming together of Hamilton and Rosberg going towards turn 4. There's always a treat in store as we head back to the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya for the Spanish Grand Prix. It's an updated track at Catalunya, and the popular opinion in the paddock is that we never wanted the chicane in the first place. That's now been gone, the final corner is much faster, and at 2.9 miles and 14 turns, we await the Spanish Grand Prix. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Oscar Piastri, Perez, Leclerc, Russell, Sainz, Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Stroll, Golden Boy, Tsunoda, Gasly, Ocon, Albon, Hulkenberg, Joe, Ricciardo, Bottas, and Kevin Magnussen fills the last spot on the grid. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. So I'm sure there'll be plenty to talk about this afternoon, and who's going to talk about it with us? None other than Naomi Schiff. Hi Naomi. I know what we've got to do before the start of today's race, but what about our driver? What do the final hours look like for them?
Well, every driver certainly has their own way of preparing themselves before a race. But I can tell you that pre-race rituals are a real thing. When I was in go-karting, I used to touch every wheel in a specific sequence before I got into the kart. And then I stepped up to cars and had a specific set of fireproof base layers just for race day. So watch the drivers when they're on the grid. Some may be sitting on the floor and isolating, others may be up to other things that they do. But these little things really help their minds get ready for the race.
So then, let's get ready to roll here off the grid now. It's going to be a medium start, but you can see the two options we have, and we're going to stick to the primary default strategy, medium, medium, soft, instead of medium, medium, hard. And just hope for the best. A new, potential experimental tire compound. Let's see how it goes.
Here we go then, the formation lap gets underway and the excitement here is building as we near ever closer to the start of the race. Which team will come out on top? Who's got their strategies right for today's race? Well, we'll soon find out.
We see a huge diverse selection of tires here on the grid. Verstappen pole starts on the mediums.
We're almost ready to start the race as the cars take their positions on the grid, with the drivers and teams making their final preparations.
Okay, Gary, today is a bit of an experimental day with these new tyres. Keep the car on track and we'll learn as we go.
Yep, 10-4. Thanks for the hard work, team, this weekend, and a good starting spot. Hopefully we can go forward. So we're ready to go. Lights out here from the Spanish Grand Prix. A lot of racing still remains in this season. We are not even halfway through. I appreciate you guys' support so far. It's been a lot of fun doing this series, and I hope you guys have been enjoying. Now here we go. Ready to go racing. 5 red lights. Max Verstappen, dominant this season, leads the way. It's a bit of a slow start for myself. We don't make any headway. Verstappen covers off Lando Norris. The pair of McLaren's looking strong this weekend, and Norris around the outside into turn 1. He's on the soft compound tire. Verstappen on the mediums, and Norris trying to put those softs to good use and to his advantage early on. Perez, Piastri 3rd, 4th, Leclerc and his Ferrari teammate 5th and 6th. Sainz actually side by side in the background with him trying to move his way forward, but it looks like Leclerc might have the advantage, but they continue wheel to wheel now. Norris still trying to get the job done. He knows it's crucial to get this lead with the tire advantage he has early on in this Grand Prix. Here they go through the left-hander, and Norris gets it done. Lando Norris to the lead here from Spain. Verstappen, dominant this season, picked up his 60th career win just recently, down to 2nd place. Perez will settle into 3rd. It's been a bit of a rough stretch for the Australian Grand Prix winner from earlier this season, Piastri. He's had a terrible season, let's be honest, but it's looking like he's stepped up his game this weekend. Leclerc, Sainz, Russell, Hamilton 5th through 8th position, with Fernando Alonso and his Canadian Aston Martin teammate of Lance Stroll rounding out the top 10 now, as I still settle in P11 as we round this final turn, and now settle in where we are here down this front straightaway. 33 laps of racing, and here comes Yuki Tsunoda and the V-Carb putting some pressure on, but we keep him at bay by using that battery as we head down into turn number 1. You can see some ghosting up there. Thank you, Codemasters, for your continuous terrible end of lap 1 coding with your AI now, as Gasly trails just behind Tsunoda in that 13th position. The Alpine looked relatively strong, last episode, quite surprisingly, both cars in the points, and it looks like they're looking pretty decent again here this weekend as well. Here now, well underway on lap 2, actually going a little bit wide right there on the exit of the right-hander. Here comes Tsunoda now up my outside into the braking zone. We're going to keep it pinned on the inside, though. Give him the racing room, though, that he is deserving of. Now, of course, you guys know, if you've been here for a while, I actually like wheel-to-wheel racing instead of just shoving someone out of the corner like you always see in F1. Nonetheless, though, Tsunoda takes a position, a bit of a slide there in the penultimate turn. We drop down to P12, and now we got the pair of Alpines just behind Gasly, Ocon, DRS, of course, enabled already at the end of lap 1. And here comes a big run to the back of Tsunoda. We breeze past the Japanese driver, and now as well, Gasly trying to get through with the DRS as he will try and get into that 12th position. As you can see, more battles happening already. Look at this. This was actually a few moments prior, and that was Leclerc, Russell going past Piastri. So Piastri will drop down to P6. He's on the hard compound tire. He's the only one up here on the hard, so he is not going to quite have the pace, and Leclerc would stay ahead of George Russell. We see a lot of diversity today with this new tire compound and the wearing of it. You're seeing a lot of diversity in the starting tires for drivers. We are seeing all compounds being used. We've gone round on the exit of the corner. Gasly involved, Ocon as well. Tsunoda, the safety car, immediately out. A major accident. I had no idea that was going to happen. It just went without any warning. I somehow have no damage, I don't think.
Okay, we're looking, and it looks good from here. I have no idea how.
So the safety car is out, and that's going to really change strategy here, and everybody just about is coming into the pit lane. Lando Norris, Max Verstappen, Charles Leclerc, you got Russell, Hamilton, everybody except Oscar Piastri has stayed out, and we as well are electing to stay out. But look at the double stacking. This is going to cause huge issues for Verstappen, who's going to lose a major amount of track position potentially now. As well, you see Lance Stroll waiting behind Alonso, so the Canadian will drop down the order. Lewis Hamilton as well is going to get the bit of a short end of the stick on that one. So we will go P1, P2, Piastri and myself. We both stayed on the track, while Leclerc will be the first one out. Piastri, his teammate of Norris, actually got held up quite a bit by traffic. We'll take a look now at the replays of that accident there from onboards now. Of course, Pierre Gasly out of the Grand Prix, and you see on board with him, I mean, really just bad place, bad time. The Frenchman out, collects his teammate of Esteban Ocon as well. I had no warning it was going to happen. I came out of the corner and it just looped on me, and I had no chance of saving that one. And somehow, even with simulation damage, there's no damage on the car. No wing damage, no tire falling off. We should have been out of the Grand Prix. That should have 100% been a DNF, but because of Codemaster's weird sim damage in career mode, we're fine. So we're back underway. We're racing from P2, and it's a slow start from Piastri. The Australian drops down to P2. We take the lead, and now here he comes back with the slipstream. He's going to go up my inside, and I know he's just so much quicker, so I'm not really going to contest that. We drop back down into the second position. Charles Leclerc, the first one on tires now. So we are trying to stretch this out. I didn't want to be at the back of the grid, so we're going to stretch this out here and try to turn this into a one-stop by using those safety car laps to our advantage. Now, Leclerc up the inside, wasting no time. The Monaco driver takes the position, looking for his first win of this 2024 season. Here comes now George Russell later in the lap. He's going to fire one up my inside on those fresh medium compound tires. Actually, a bit of a tap to the back wing of him here, as Max Verstappen on the front straightaway. He's going to pass me into turn number 1. He's on the soft compound tires, so we are dropping like a rock, which was kind of expected here now as we come through this final turn, and I'm certainly thinking we've made the wrong call. We should have just pitted at the end of that lap when the safety car came out. Now Charles Leclerc breezes past Piastri, and here comes George Russell out of nowhere. He's going to make it briefly 3 wide, and now around the outside of Charles Leclerc for the lead of the Spanish Grand Prix, but Leclerc is going to have the advantage, and he's going to stay ahead for now at least. What can Russell do as these laps go on? We are down to P8. I got passed by Alonso and Norris into turn 1 as that was all happening. So we are tumbling down the order. Lap 11 is our pit window to go on to what I have decided is going to be the hard compound tire. And like I said, using those safety car laps to just try a one stop here, because that's kind of what I forced myself into. I'm going to get a warning there for exceeding track limits. Now, as you can see, I mean, we're just getting dominated here. Lewis Hamilton, who got screwed over by the double stacking, he's down to P10 briefly, but now up to P8. It's going to go through past me, and as well Esteban Ocon. He's going to try and at least keep it pinned around the outside. Sergio Perez, another one that's way down the order. He's coming up to the back of me. He as well was behind Verstappen, of course, and Verstappen had already had to wait for a lengthy period of time. So there goes Perez. I mean, me causing that safety car kind of changed everything here today now, and there's no really natural strategy. Yellow's in front. It's a mechanical issue. It's Lando Norris, who was looking so strong early on.
Engine is gone, guys.
You hear Lando Norris on the radio, and as that was happening, Mark was actually telling me that Hulkenberg in the Haas is having an issue as well. So a little bit later on, look at this group of cars just lining me up down the front straightaway. We have absolutely no chance of holding our own now, and we're going to get overtaken by both Ricciardo and Stroll. So dropping down to P12 as we continue to slip and slide. Now, fortunately, we are about to come into the pit lane at the end of this lap, but you can see I am just hanging on for my life at this point now. So this is more of, I think, not the new tire compounds. It's just the setup. We just got the setup wrong this weekend here. And I had been testing this tire wear mod, and it's why I think it's a setup, because I wasn't losing this much grip on other tracks. But we're going to come into the pit lane here now. And yeah, we're going to commit to this one stop. So Valtteri Bottas is pitting from the soft compound tire, and so is Daniel Ricciardo. But I think they are committing to the two stop still, while I just think we're going to lose too much time because everybody else right now pretty well only has to do one more stop. So if we did two stops, we're screwed. So we're going to put on the hards, and we might suffer late in the Grand Prix, but overall I think it'll be more of a gain than if we did a two-stop strategy. We'll have to at least wait and see. Bottas and Ricciardo are out in front of us now. Kevin Magnussen in the Haas just behind by about a second as two cars out of the Grand Prix. Gasly from the crash on lap 3, including myself and others. Sonoda, Ocon getting involved, but one mechanical failure with Lando Norris in the McLaren. We saw Oscar Piastri have the mechanical failure last episode in Canada. A total different scenario from F123, where McLaren was so good with their R&D, or with their durability I should say now, as we pass Joe, who's just exiting the pits. But as that happens, Magnussen gets past me with the DRS. As look at the battles, Max Verstappen seems to be going in the wrong direction. Hamilton and Ocon have run him down and passed him.
I'm losing power here. I don't know what is wrong.
And you hear Verstappen reporting a loss of power as we actually a lap later breeze back past Kevin Magnussen. He actually has wing damage there. You saw the end plate missing on the left side of that front wing. So we move back up into P16, and we're just at this point running the best laps we can and wait for everybody in front of us to come in and make their pit stops, including our teammate of Albon and literally everybody else. They all still have to pit at least one more time. You can see me pulling all the way over to the grass there, trying to break that slipstream. Both Red Bulls actually pitted this lap. So Verstappen pitted, and he's now onto the hard compound tire, and Perez. But Verstappen has pretty well been eliminated from the contention for the race victory. So, and as well Perez for sure, as Leclerc is going to pit from second position. I forgot to mention George Russell had gotten past Leclerc a little bit after that safety car, and they were just kind of going back and forth, but Leclerc had kind of settled into second place. So it seems like the leader here cannot get away, and of course the tire strategy is quite similar for some of those guys up front now after the safety car, so it's going to be harder for them to get away. So we see Russell pitting from the lead at the end of lap 18, coming to 19, and an error there on the left front. They struggle getting that wheel on. That should put Charles Leclerc into the lead of the Grand Prix, and sure enough, he breezes past. The Monaco driver looking for that first win will take the net lead. Stroll, still on track on the hard compound tire, has to pit. Russell still will maintain P2. As that's happening, Albon's pitting. We pass him. We get past Hulkenberg, but now Zhou breezes past me, but he is going to be pitting again. Lance Stroll, mechanical failure here from the lead position on lap 19. So the Canadian will be the second mechanical failure of the day. No safety cars, so everybody continues on. Leclerc, Russell, Hamilton will be the top three. How about Lewis Hamilton? He's just kind of weaseled his way forward as this race has gone on and gotten through this green flag pit stop cycle, and as now really joined the conversation for a victory here. And here he goes. He's going to pass Russell, but this is going to actually put them in a position to work together. They're going to engage in a back and forth. I'm not going to bother showing it because it's just the same thing over and over again, but they keep passing each other down the front straightaway as the laps go on, and they're allowing themselves to utilize that DRS to bring them both closer to the leader of Charles Leclerc here. And now lap 22, we have cycled through into P11 once everything's been said and done, and here comes Bottas into the pit lane now. We know Zhou's going to pit as well, and we're going to pass Zhou right here, and I'm trying to get on it a little bit quicker than I was because I know Perez is coming in the background, so he's going to be running faster than me, but we as well don't know. These tires I think are going to fall off at some point, but let's go through the grid.
It's a very different look here today as Max Verstappen runs down in 8th place. As it appears they have fixed his power issue, but the damage is already done. Charles Leclerc leads the way as the pair of Mercedes work together each lap here to close in.
Piastri has stepped up his game today, running 5th as we speak. However, Alonso is right there on him and looking faster. And how about Ocon? A great drive for him.
Ted Kravitz, what can you tell us about the new tyre compounds this weekend?
I can tell you that we are all loving it. We haven't seen so much diverse starting tyre choices in years, Crofty. On top of that, there is just enough wear to force a two-stop, but from the info I have gathered, it's not too much wear. So it is just right. I think Pirelli has knocked it out of the park here. Obviously, we're not seeing the full effect of strategy due to the safety car early on.
It is quite awesome to see this. I know it's just the first weekend, but I hope we see this continue going forward.
You see the pair of Sauber cars there as we hear the rumours that Audi may be looking at coming in a year early, but we'll have to wait and see.
So, I would say these Pirelli tires are doing a great job. Not only is it separating the field, but it's making a great strategic race, and I'm looking forward to using this mod going into future races. Let me know down below what you guys think now. But you can see as Joe is well pitted, we had now been under pressure from Sergio Perez, but lap 26, Russell has closed up to the back of Leclerc, so it's about to be game on, and then there goes Perez past me, so that drops us to P10, but you saw a few moments ago, I had a bit of a slip and slide, and now lap 27, George Russell to the lead here in Spain, trying to get Mercedes their first win. They have a win in a sprint this season from Lewis Hamilton, but they don't have a race victory. In the background, Alonso passes the lone McLaren on the circuit of Oscar Piastri, who's still not running great. P6 compared to Norris, who started the lead in the Grand Prix, but overall, still a big improvement for Oscar Piastri compared to the rest of his season, but you can see I am starting to struggle. Perez running away, Ricciardo and everybody behind me is closing in as I'm continuing to slip and slide. I have nothing left, dude. This is all I got. I'm just hanging on.
Yep, a lot of laps on these tyres, but we cannot pit. Just do what you can.
Another huge slide as we chase this car, and we basically screwed ourselves when we wrecked ourselves on lap 3. Look at us sliding around, but us not pitting when that safety car came out is, well, we're paying the price now. All these laps we put on these hard compound tires, everyone else on significantly fresher tires while I'm struggling. It's just a recipe for disaster, and at this point it's just about bringing it home and surviving. I'm tumbling down the order to P13. This is quickly probably turning into what I would call my worst race now. Here comes Alex Albon.
Let him go. Please don't hold him up.
Wow, he's playing the team game. Tell him I appreciate it.
So we move over for Albon. It would have been silly to just stay in front of him when I'm struggling this much, and hopefully he can maybe go after Tsunoda. I doubt it. So we're P14, and with 3 to go, just trying to make sure we stay ahead of the pair of Sauber kit cars. They're 7 seconds back, but they're going to get close because I am hanging on at this point now. However, up front, the battle is not over. 2 laps to go, and Leclerc with a huge run on Russell into turn 1. Hamilton's there for the taking signs in the background, 4th. Alonso 5th. And how about Esteban Ocon in P7? Verstappen P8 still trying to recover from an early issue, but Leclerc to the lead of the Spanish Grand Prix. Can he get that first win of the season finally, or is it going to be George Russell? We continue to slip and slide. The gap continues to fumble. Now to the final lap, and here comes George Russell. Leclerc's a sitting duck, and here we go, wheel to wheel, and through goes Russell. What is Hamilton going to do into turn 1? He's going to lunge one up the inside, and that's going to be perfect for George Russell. He's going to run away, and Leclerc maintains P2, but it's going to be a double podium for Mercedes if they can just hang on this final lap. George Russell in control. Final lap underway for us, and we have just under 3 seconds to Zhou, 3 seconds to Bottas now. I have never struggled so much at the end of a race, and it was really, like I said, the worst race maybe of my Formula 1 career so far. It was an absolute disaster, but it's not a disaster for him. George Russell is him today. He wins the Spanish Grand Prix.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. I'll let you.
George Russell career win number 2 for the British driver, and for us it's a day of disappointment. A crash early, a rookie error again, and just wrong strategy. Everything went wrong, and it was really all my fault from start to finish. Rounding the final turn, honestly I'm happy with P14, we'll take it. Crossing the stripe behind our teammate of Albon by 4.7 seconds. That was the worst race of my career. On the bright side, I don't think it can get any worse, but I'm so sorry guys, that was terrible.
Chin up, mate. It's all good. You held on well at the end. I know it was difficult.
Ricciardo, driver of the day, as we head to the podium.
Another Spanish Grand Prix is over, and what a special race it was.
It's not every day that we get to see such incredible wheel-to-wheel racing. Next time, they might consider making it easier for themselves, but today, we absolutely loved all the action that we got to see out there.
One thing I like about this game, in terms of presentation, is that they've brought in different voices into this game. You know, you have Natalie Pinkham doing the odd practice session intro, then you have Naomi Schiff as well coming in for the Grand Prix weekends. It's nice that it's not just Crofty and Anthony Davidson the whole time. And as well, I will be bringing in some different commentary voices through AI as this series goes on, so stay tuned on that, as well as George Russell gets to celebrate Mercedes' first Grand Prix win of the season. Hamilton, he's had a heck of a season. Mercedes has had a heck of a season compared to IRL. I mean, Canada was really the first weekend where they showed some genuine pace in real life. But yeah, Hamilton's having a heck of a go-out season with Mercedes, as Leclerc still seeking that first win. A great day for Fernando Alonso and a great day for Esteban Ocon with P7, 6 points to his name today, while his teammate Gasly, of course, taken out in that lap 3 accident, all ignited by myself. Magnussen way up the pace there in P17. You can see Albon has us beat by 2 points so far. As you see the rest of the standings, Verstappen fumbles a little bit now and gives Leclerc a fighting chance, and Red Bull is 26 points ahead of Ferrari as we still maintain P6 in front of Kick Sauber. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching and have yourselves a great day.